So currently the Cardano budget process is live and there are a bunch of proposals, a lot of different proposals up in the Gov tool for people to go through, to vote and to support. These proposals are basically the ones who are going to get Cardano funding from the Treasury to develop on Cardano and to hopefully create a positive return on investment, right? To generate more economic activity, even if in the long run, and more treasury funds and transactions that will hopefully replenish the treasury, but above all, bring success to Cardano, bring economic value to Cardano, and help Cardano succeed in its mission to become a pillar technology in terms of decentralized finance and also in terms of the real world. And we at GenWealth, with that vision and with that spirit in mind, we've also created a proposal because we believe we have a really strong use case that could help attract real world users, real world firms, real world liquidity, and simple economic value that is out there and that is currently done through manual processes using a little bit of computers as well, but could be done much better using blockchain. And the problem starts, above all, it starts with the cryptocurrency industry itself. Cryptocurrency is amazing, blockchain is amazing. We have self-custody of assets, right? We can control our assets without needing any intermediaries, and this is all thanks to seed phrases. However, there are also issues that come with the usage of seed phrases. For example, you need to keep it safe, to hide it from others, because if someone gets access to your seed phrase, well, your funds are lost. But not only that, if you lose access to your seed phrase, you won't be able to access your funds anymore and your funds are lost. And furthermore, if something happens to you, if you pass away and your family is not able to access this seed phrase, your funds get lost as well. So clearly you see the problem with the user experience of self-custody is this dichotomy between leaving your assets to your family and having to share a seed phrase, but at the same time the need to keep it really safe so you don't lose it, right? And this is a problem so big that is originating a lot of lost crypto, and Bitcoin shows us the roadmap with 20% of all Bitcoin have been lost forever due to this lack of a proper recovery mechanism. And we think we can solve that with GenWealth using Cardano smart contracts and the programmability of Cardano blockchain. Because with our solution, you keep self-custody and all the benefits that come with it without being reliant on any intermediaries, but you can create a plan to recover your crypto in case you ever lose the seed phrase. But more than that, you can create your own blockchain will, where you set beneficiaries, you define the specific assets you want to leave them, and when the time comes, the beneficiaries simply come to the smart contract, connect, and claim their share. And all validations are done by smart contracts with no intermediaries and respecting your rules. And it works very simply. You simply can use any wallet, any Cardano wallet you connect. You create your own vault that will be controlled by this wallet. There you're able to set rules for inheritance, beneficiaries, to also manage the tokens and decide how you want to distribute them. And when you're gone, basically the beneficiaries will claim and they will only get the specific assets you left them. As for crypto recovery, it's also a very simple process. You also use this vault. You're able to create a vault key, which is a key who has control over the vault. You can safely store that vault in a section just for yourself and from some other wallets you control. That will be backup wallets, and you can define a smaller deadline for inactivity, giving you some time period where only you can recover this asset. So if you lose your seed phrase, you have a time period where you can come, use one of these backup wallets, get control over your vault once again and over the crypto. And that's how you can recover it even after you lost your seed phrase. But it goes further than this. Our solution is not only solving problems in the cryptocurrency industry, but problems in the real world, because the industry of the inheritance, well, they have huge issues and inefficiencies that can be heavily improved with a solution like the one we are building, especially one that allows for this kind of flexibility in terms of managing your assets like you would do with your own will. And some of the problems is the high costs, where 3 to 10% of the cost with of the value of your inheritance goes for costs of managing it, and also a lot of time to do inheritance. It sometimes takes years, months to be able to complete the inheritance process. A really bad experience. And fortunately, leveraging blockchain and leveraging Cardano, we can actually have this blockchain to manage the assets and to manage the inheritance process. We will need, of course, to create an asset valuation and compliance tool, and also a simple way to tokenize services. And with these three solutions together, we're actually able to provide a complete platform for firms. Now, this was built with the feedback of inheritance firms of what they would need to be able to use this DApp. And with this complete platform, they'll be able to tokenize real-world assets and manage the inheritance process in Cardano, in a DApp based on Cardano, in a compliant way. So this complete solution is the way to go for us to provide and attract real-world economic value. And we have experience already and a lot of work done in this space. We've launched the first version in testnet, a lot of legal research over 24 countries for us to be prepared to deliver tools that are just simply adaptable to any law system, any inheritance law system, so that it can also upgrade, because these systems are constantly changing over the years. And also private testing sessions with crypto users and inheritance firms that gave us the feedback to understand what we need to improve for the crypto experience, but especially for the real world impact and the real world experience with the feedback of inheritance firms. And that's why we are putting out this proposal. From that concept, we now know what we need to do, and now it's about execution, right? So our goal is to be able to deliver a new version with all this feedback and launch it on mainnet. And once we have that, the focus will be on creating that tokenization platform, that complete platform for firms, starting with the inheritance compliance calculator, then the tokenization solution. And with these three solutions, these three developments will be ready to launch. Then we can start the pilot with firms. We already have 5 firms with interest, and we will definitely get some more before starting this pilot. And then we have the integration with DeFi apps, so that you can utilize other Cardano apps from the platform and in a compliant way with inheritance, which would be pretty exciting. And we have an ocean of the market we want to serve, right? We want to serve Cardano, and we know how much impact we can have, as you can see here. We would also like to serve the Bitcoin market. Cardano has a big push, a big effort to become the DeFi layer for Bitcoin. And I believe we believe this kind of solution could be a great use case to attract Bitcoin liquidity, because it is a simple solution, simple to use, almost like using a wallet, but with added features. But on top of that, you solve a big problem in Bitcoin, which is the lost crypto. So definitely, I think it would be a huge use case for Cardano as well. And we also have a model for sustainability, a way for the protocol to generate revenue, to claim part of the value it is delivering, in order to not have to come here and to constantly ask funds for the treasury, but quite the opposite, for the protocol to have its own treasury and to be able to carry development even in a decentralized way. But of course, besides these worlds, we have the inheritance world, which is even a bigger opportunity, with many trillions being managed there, as you can see. And even just a small percentage would bring a lot of assets into Cardano, as you can see here, and also a good amount of revenue to be able to keep building our solution. And there are definitely a lot of opportunities we can explore. In terms of the team is super important in any project, and I'm proud to have a team that is very experienced in managing projects, very experienced in the startup world, both Web 2 and Web 3, also with the experience working with firms and creating technologies that solve real world problems, which is what we're doing here as well. And with a lot of development on Cardano, our CTO has been involved and coordinating the development for an NWTC, or even Broclan, Multisig, and Smart Wallet. So he has a lot of relevant contributions. And I've also worked previously in the inheritance industry, especially developing technology, Web2 technology for this industry in the startup world. So do have some relevant connections that we could use, especially now in this pilot and especially now for the development of this solution. So I do think we have a great team. Besides this, with this project, we would bring on more 3 quality developers and also a person to help us with the non-technical process. So that would be crucial for us to be able to move this fast and to deliver so much in so little time. I advise you, if you can, to go check out that proposal. We really appreciate feedback. We're building this, and the Cardano community needs to be a big part of it. Our hope is that you guys are going to become the users of this solution. So please go there, give us your feedback, ask questions, ask the concerns. You can just scan these codes or search for GenWealth in GovTool. And of course, there's also a voting section there if you're a DREP or a direct voter and you believe this is important. We'd really appreciate your vote to support us and to make and to help this move forward. This is not core technology. I know there is a big focus on core, but I think it's also important to focus on proposals that could give a good ROI, a good return on investment to the Cardano ecosystem, a good return on investment to the treasury, and that can only be done with technologies that bring more users and more economic value, right? That's what we are trying to do. So if you think it is important as we do, please go give us some support. Thank you for watching, and we'll also be doing some more videos. We'll be doing some videos about the budget process itself. There's been some amazing work done by Dreps, some amazing things going on, and we want to talk about that and talk about how is that budget process moving and why is it so crucial now for the future of Cardano. And then we also have the intersect elections, which I think are important and influence a lot governance and processes like the ones we are going through here, which are also coordinated by intersect. So please watch out. There's a lot going on in Cardano, and I just want to give more information to people and help them participate in these important processes, because we need your participation and your validation for this to be worth it. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.